It is another Friday. Welcome to Game Plan on Joy 99.7 FM and on Hitz 103.9 FM. This is a very interactive show and would always interact with you on 055 1111997, 055 1111997, and also tweet us using the hashtag Game Plan. We are available on Twitter Spaces. We are also streaming live on our Facebook pages, both Joy FM 99.7 and Joy Sports accounts, as well as on the YouTube channel of Joy News. Imagine leaving home one evening, heading to anywhere, just choose anywhere, to chase a dream. And unbeknownst to you, that decision you've made to go chase your dream is that dream that is ultimately going to be taking your life. Just imagine that. Quite an unfortunate moment on Monday when we woke up to media reports about the demise of Ghanaian boxer Edward Akushi. This is a young man who has chosen boxing as the sport he loves, who has chosen boxing as an arena he wants to use to change the fortunes of his life and that of his family, because he has seen the likes of Joshua Clottey, Azuma Nelson, Isaac Dogwe, Joshua Ike Corte and co, Joseph Agbeko and co, did it magnificently, brought so much joy to Ghanaians, brought so much satisfaction to their families, and chose a similar path. Unbeknownst to him, that path is what was going to end his life after a fight he had against Dixon on September 12th. We'll be speaking to the Ghana Boxing Authority. My colleague Nathaniel Atsu earlier spoke to the acting president of the Ghana Boxing Authority, Roger Bano. We'll also be going on the phone to speak to the spokesperson of the Ghana Boxing Authority to give us some more. But aside from that, we'll be talking about the Ghana Football Association decision to appoint Desmond Ofer as the Black Meteors head coach, and he'll be assisted by Yao Preko and Baba Nuhu Malam. This same football governing body had earlier told us that they were moving Desmond Ofer from the Black Satellites role to allow him to focus on the Black Stars role as an assistant coach. However, in less than 3 months, the same Ghana Football Association has handed him a head coaching role. The University for Development Studies, they have made it to the final of the World University Football Tournament. They won 5-4 on penalties against University of Granada from Spain. That game was a nail-biting encounter, and the celebrations after was one of a kind. Show proudly brought to you by Petrosol Platinum Energy, energizing Ghanaians. Betway, get way more. I've been joined by Victor Atsu Tamakloe, and we'll have Sitsofe Philip Ashim join us via Zoom for today's conversation. I am sitting in for Atsu. I'm sitting in for Musbau. I'm sitting in for Fentuo. am Muftawu, Nabila, Abdulai. Atsu, how you day? About what?
A bit upset about the circumstances that led to the unfortunate passing of Bahubali. Something that was very avoidable. But I guess events like that and sentiments like what I'm feeling right now are the purpose for platforms like this. That when there is a review to be done, we can unpack the issues and look at why it happened in the first place, if it could have been avoided, whose responsibility it was, what ought to happen to those who had the power to stop this from happening, whose responsibility it was to ensure that boxing is organized within a premise that guarantees safety, while also promoting the competitive edge that we all seek. So I'm sure we'll get into all of that.
We will. Let's go on the phone right now and speak to Andy Norte, who is the spokesman of the Ghana Boxing Authority. Andy, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate that you've been able to make our time to speak to us. At what point did it come to the Ghana Boxing Authority that Ernest Akushi had passed on?
Well, let me first greet your listeners. This is a question I've had to answer on several occasions. But then I think Monday evening we had a hint that the guy was also feeling well. But then regarding the news of his demise, I think that was early hours of the following day. That was Tuesday. So even when we had the information, members had to call each other seeking for confirmation. And then unfortunately, the issue was confirmed. So that was the situation.
Before fighting, did the Ghana Boxing Authority have any reservation about his health?
Not at all. You know, we have been very cautious about speaking about his medical records. The doctor would have been the best person to talk about it. But following the interactions we've had at the various board meetings, there was nothing like that. The boy went through the necessary. He had a legal health certificate, for which reason he was passed to fight.
Muftawu.
And then even before the fight, he had to go through the final assessment, which he did successfully and was passed. Even after the fight, there is a post-fight assessment thing that he also had to go through. He went through that and was cleared by the doctor. So
when you say post-fight assessment, what is that?
The post-fight assessment is what a boxer will have to go through, especially in his situation. You know, he was actually battered. So the doctor had to assess him, look at him well, and have to decide whether he would need further medical attention. But then there was no reason for them to detain him. He was fine. They checked whatever they needed to check and was cleared.
Is this some kind of new medical protocols put together by the Ghana Boxing Authority just to safeguard the boxers?
It is not just the Ghana Boxing Authority, but these are some of the advancements being introduced just to ensure that boxers are safe before and after fights. So, of course, we had medical personnel at ringside whose responsibility it is to check all of these things. So, Bahubali got down from the ring, he was checked, and everything was fine.
Andy, talk to me. But how unfortunate is it for the boxing community, considering the fact that in the space of 5 months, 2 people have died after fighting at the Bukum Boxing Arena?
Yeah. It's quite unfortunate that this has happened, but it doesn't mean the GBA should also be faulted. I get a little worried when we try to put the two together. In the case of Bahubali, I mean, the GBA did whatever they are supposed to do as an organization. You understand? The GBA ensured that every protocol they needed to put in place was there. You understand? So I don't understand why people are trying at all costs to paint a bad image for the GBA. I don't think that will help, because until the medical report even comes out, we are all responding to speculations. People are saying all manner of things, throwing all manner of information out there, some of which I wonder whether they can even substantiate when they are asked to. So I don't know why people don't want to be patient.
But
the
fact
report.
is that, Andy, the fact is that
Yes.
as an institution responsible for the governance of boxing,
Yes.
you are also responsible for the welfare of these boxers.
Absolutely.
So the buck will always stop with the people who are in charge. So if they
Yes.
have any reasons to or any concerns to express, they should be directed. Who else should they direct them to other than the Ghana Boxing Authority?
You know, it is even not as if those concerns are being addressed to the GBA to respond. But people are being so emphatic with some of those things. I have even heard some of those commentaries I've heard, like the guy has fought about 3 times or 4 times within the year. It is not true. These are basic information that can be verified. We have BoxRec and other places. The guy has fought just 2 times this year. The first fight was against Jonathan Tete, May 10, if my memory serves me right. And then the next fight is September 12. You understand?
Did I hear you say
nobody
May
is
10?
saying that
Did I hear you say May 10?
GBA should not be criticized. But the criticisms must be very fair.
And Andy, a quick question. I just need some clarity. Did I hear you say May 10? The last time he fought was on May 10.
Yes, May 10.
So this was clearly a month after the Nigerian boxer had died at the Bukom Boxing Arena.
Yes.
And within that period, there were some issues where the Ghana Boxing Authority were not sanctioning bout. So how did he fight on May 10?
You know, I have joined the association not too long ago.
Okay.
I joined after the previous president left and was followed by the public relations officer. So when we delve into issues within that particular administration, I'll be a little confused because I don't have all the information that existed then.
But what you mentioned, you just stated this categorically that he fought on May 10. And
Yes.
on May 10, within that period, there were some issues about Ghana boxing to the extent that there were no fights happening. So if you say he fought on May 10, I'm wondering where those records are from.
The point I wanted to raise was the fact that it is not true that the guy has fought so many times within a short space of time. That was why I brought in the issue about his last fight and then the previous one. Are you getting my point?
I'm with you, Andy. I'm with you.
Yes. So I was just trying to dispel that rumor that the guy has fought so many times within the year. So this is just the second time. And these are the information people with knowledge about the sport are intentionally putting out just to paint the GBA black or something.
Okay, so Andy, let's progress the conversation.
Okay.
So for instance, with the case of the Nigerian boxer in mind, right?
Yes.
Wouldn't it have been prudent to put boxing on hold and to guarantee the safety of boxers?
You know, that is a very difficult question because when you look at boxing,
when you say a difficult question,
sport,
why is it difficult to put the sport on hold? Because boxing exists because of the people who fight, and you cannot guarantee their safety. Why endanger them?
Muftawu, you know, before you take certain decisions, like the one we are facing now, boxing or suspension, boxing ban, boxing, all of that.
Yeah, I'll come to that.
Okay. You need to put in place a plan. you just don't come out and announce suspension. So when you say boxing should be suspended, as we speak now, there's supposed to be a promotion tomorrow, and weighing is supposed to happen today. You understand? People have actually invested so much in this upcoming event. Let me restrict myself to that. You understand? So wouldn't it be fair for the NSA to even engage the GBA that because of ABCD, let's put the next event on hold and put in place 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, Andy, are you suggesting that the investments of people should be prioritized over the lives of people?
Not at all. That is not the point I am making. But what I am saying is
But when you say people have invested so much in the promotion, it is that they are investing in the boxers. Their investment is because there are people who are willing to fight.
Let's also not lose sight of the fact that you are also talking about the livelihoods of people. But the point I am actually trying to make is that if you take such a decision and nobody knows when boxing will come back, you are putting people in difficult situations. You understand? So it should have been easier for the NSA to engage the GBA. Discuss that from this day we want to put the sport on hold for ABC reasons. Within this period, we want to put up this structure, ensure this is done, and all of that. So now when you give them an idea of when the sport would return, now everybody will work towards that. But when you just announce a suspension and nobody knows what is happening after the announcement, people would have reasons to ask questions about where exactly you want to take boxing.
So at this point, are you clearly suggesting that the Ghana Boxing Authority disagrees with the position of the National Sports Authority and that of the Ministry of Sports and Recreation in suspending boxing at the moment?
We are not against those decisions. What we are saying is that we should have been engaged. We should have been given some respect as the body responsible for the promotion and development of the sport in Ghana. You understand? That's all we are saying.
When issues are quite critical, drastic decisions are taken. For instance, about 5-6 months ago, a boxer died after fighting there, and another person has died. Clearly, anyone who is responsible or has oversight responsibility when it comes to the governance of the sport, that person clearly has a responsibility and has a decision to take. And if it is suspending the sport to ensure that the lives of people are protected, why is it wrong for them to do that?
So, Muftawu, I think that people have died fairly enough. But then, did we find out the cause of the death, and did we also get to know the role the GBA played in ensuring that the right things were to be done? The GBA is not against any of those things they are talking about, any of those protocols. When a boxer died, I mean, sports generally, there are hazards, just like any other work we do. You understand? A similar thing happened in Japan. 2 boxers died. Boxing was never suspended. They had a conversation about improving the safety of the sport. Are we saying that after the suspension, when boxing comes back, no incident will happen again? Is that what we are saying?
Clearly, what it also means is that during the suspension period, people who are in charge of the governance of the sport will put in the right structures, hoping that by the time the sport returns, there should be the appropriate structures in place to safeguard boxers.
Yes, the GBA is ready to work with them to ensure all of this.
So Andy, my final question to you is right. You see, as you mentioned, Akushi had to be retained to be attended to by medics because he was given a proper beating. Let me put it that way, for lack of better words.
Okay.
But one of the things that has become quite common is the fact that referees often watch on and boxers are given pummeling in the ring. I don't know what the Ghana Boxing Authority is doing to ensure that when you realize that a boxer is in danger, why not stop the fight? What conversations are you having with the referees?
Muftawu, if you watch the fight carefully, you realize that there were certain points in time where the ring doctor was even engaging the referee. I was not there, so I don't know what exactly they were talking about. But the doctor will tell you that sometimes there are some things you look out for. If you begin to see those things, especially the swelling, and then the eye becomes reddish. So he realized some of this and drew the attention of the referee. So all of this contributed to the stoppage of the fight. So the GBA continuously hold meetings with the referees, finding ways to upgrade them. I'm not saying that their standard is low, but then we learn every day. So the GBA is not sitting idle on this. Since the incident happened, there have been several engagements with the various stakeholders so that we all find a way to make sure that we improve the safety of boxers in the sport.
Okay, Andy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Extremely grateful.
You're welcome, sir.
Andy Norte is the spokesperson for the Ghana Boxing Authority, speaking to us here on Game Plan. If you just joined us, this is Game Plan, Joy 99.7 FM, and also on Hitz 103.9 FM. We are interactive on 055111997, and also on X. You can tweet at us using the hashtag Game Plan, and then we'll read them for you. We'll be joined later by a team from the Ghana Swimming Federation. They are getting ready for the Africa Aquatics Championships that will be happening between October 3 and October 5. But I'm coming back to the studio. Atsu, you heard Andy. What clearly he was talking about is the fact that the Ghana Boxing Authority disagrees with the decision of the National Sports Authority and the Ministry of Sports and Recreation to suspend the sport.
Andy is my friend, but this afternoon I have not been excited by the manner in which he has addressed this issue. But his words today are the least of my concern. It's not the biggest problem we're confronted with. Sadly, his posturing and this idea that the promoters put a lot of money into the fights and that if you suspend boxing, a lot of their investments will go to waste. It betrays the appreciation of the severity of what has happened, but it's also consistent with the attitude of those who are supposed to have ensured that this did not happen. It is consistent with the GBA's attitude. It is consistent with the National Sports Authority's attitude, and it is consistent with the Sports Ministry's attitude towards this. And indulge me for a bit. I'll try and break this down, because I don't think the bout itself should have happened.
Why?
I don't think so.
Why?
If you look at Bahubali, per Norte's own admission, the first bout, his first fight this year happened in May. Before that, I think he had fought.
I think that May 10 fight should be properly interrogated.
Yeah. His first bout, or before the fight against Jonathan Tete, he fought in November last year. The way I see it, even under normal circumstances, assuming that the Gabriel Olanrewaju incident had not happened and these were normal circumstances and everything was well and good, right? Even under normal circumstances, this second bout should not have happened. You know why? The circumstances around this one and the reasons this bout was sanctioned are the reason I say that it should not have sanctioned, because this bout against Jacob Dixon was not a match of equals. He had to make the jump from super middleweight to cruiserweight.
And the boxing authority approved this?
Yes. And you see, there is a creeping culture of normalizing catchweight fights in Ghana, especially for people who, for all intents and purposes, are not boxers who have the track record that these things should be sanctioned for. Look, just to break it down, for someone who is a super middleweight, usually they are weighing between 72.6 kg to I think 79 kg. No, 72.6 to 74 kg. Then the cruiserweight, which is Jacob Dixon's weight class, is between 79.38 kg to 90.72 kg.
In other words, that was a mismatch.
There are two weight classes apart. The two of them.
Yeah. So it's clearly a mismatch.
Now, this is someone who had taken a beating in May, right? The reason why bouts or fights in the world are well spaced out is to allow the boxer to recover, monitor him through the process of recovery, and be sure that they can deal with the physical exertions and that they can actually take punishment, because that is what boxing is all about. It's your capacity to take punishment and dish out. And so, in my view, to have sanctioned this fight itself should not have happened. But there is a reason the promoters keep making this fight, because, and anyone who goes to Bukum a lot will tell you that over the last 5 or 6 years, we're having a lot of these catchweight fights, not because there is a proper prospect of getting a good entertainment, but because you have the two communities who are backing them. So you have a lot of these communities along the coastal sides, yeah, who have one boxer or the other emerging. He's very popular. He has a beef with, say, so maybe someone from Jamestown has a beef with a boxer at Osu or Teshi. The community hears it, buys into the hype. Over time, the tension is palpable. They want to make the fight. The promoter then cashes in on that beef. And so, because he knows that if the community is interested, then they will pay. Now, the promoter is not the only one cashing in, because, and we saw this the last time we went for the bouts there, and anybody who goes there will bear me out. The lines are active. When you text in, tell me if I'm lying. You will hear your friends placing bets. And I'm not talking about online betting. No. This one is me and Lawrence. First, me and Lawrence, we are sitting here and we are placing a wager on Bahubali, on Dixon, on Jonathan Tete. So the communities, they don't care. A lot of them are not educated on these weight divisions and the dangers that are the boxer is exposed to when he has to take on a catchweight fight. But the GBA looked at this and said, oh, within 3 months, he can make the jump, make the weight from 72 or 74 kg to around 89 kg or 90 kg. So let's sanction the bout. And here is the thing. For this one, we know this bout was sanctioned somewhere at the end of August or so thereabouts. So the expectation was that within a month, he was going to add on over 15 kilograms of weight just to be eligible to take on Jacob Dixon. But this makes sense to the promoter because the community will pay.
It's an opportunity to cash in.
Yes, so because the community will pay. The members of the community, it makes sense to them because there is a sense of pride, but more importantly, they are going to bet and they are going to make money at the expense of the boxer. And all of this for someone who has just fought 8 times in his career. Now, if you will not listen to the words of journalists, Brahma Kamoko has spoken about this. Yeah? Joshua Clotte. For those who are on TikTok, I think you must have seen a lot of the videos that Joshua Clotte posted after the first fight. You know what Joshua Clotte said?
What did he say?
He said, Bahubali's ring craft is putting him at risk. He said he either finds a trainer who re-educates him or he should find a different spot because he's going to die the way he's fighting.
Joshua Clottey said this.
Yes. So purely from the sporting angle, there were even questions there.
So how did Joshua Clottey see this, and the people who govern the sport still allowed him and risked him to be fighting?
The fight went ahead. The promoter is able to prey on, and if you listen to IMAX, who organized the last one, I think this one, and all of these promoters who have been at the heart of all of these questionable bouts, the first thing they tell you is that, well, the interest was there, so we had to make the fight. Which means the duty now lies on the GBA to have a technical view. As for me, I don't know boxing. I have never run a boxing promotion before. I have never been involved in boxing governance, so don't take my word for it. You are the guys who are supposed to know and understand the nuances of the sport and be able to understand the dangers or the risks that are associated with asking a boxer to make 2 jumps from super bantamweight to cruiserweight within 6 weeks or within 4 weeks. The duty lies on them, on the NSA and the GBA. And that is why I feel like when President Mahama comes down, he needs to have a serious conversation with Yampofo Ankara and the sports minister. Because I think their attitude towards this matter has not reflected the seriousness that it deserves and sufficient understanding of what their responsibility is and their role in all of this. I say the sports minister and the NSA because when the Commission for Inquiry was instituted, the Amaka Amatefe Committee, one of the things they recommended was that as a matter of urgency, the license for the GBA ought to be revoked because they had not even renewed their license anyway. So the committee was suggesting, they recommended that the license for the GBA ought to be suspended. All boxing activities ought to be suspended. And for us to roll out an implementation of the other aspects of it. So like the pre-bout medical assessments, having the proper infrastructure and technology for rolling that out, because we know that, and per the GBA's own admission, since 2021, they have not had a qualified ringside physician in their employ. It is a nurse who has fraudulently been parading as a ringside physician, and they admitted to same before the committee. So without that infrastructure, which is a key component, and when I say infrastructure, I'm referring to the personnel and the system that you are going to roll out to ensure that these people are adequately equipped, that you can independently verify or test these boxes to see that indeed the certificates of clearance that they are presenting from the hospitals are not fake. That there are other issues that are not hidden, other medical concerns that have not been overlooked. You have your own system of checking all of these. That's right. Yeah, you let me finish. So for me, I feel like
wrap up.
They did not do that. They did not do that. Once somebody died, it was an emergency situation. The committee gave a roadmap. Is
suspension the right way to go?
It should have been. It is the only way, because you did not do that. You could not guarantee that even for this bout. What is the guarantee? What is the guarantee that indeed all of the boxes had been checked before they allowed this one?
So actually, are you suggesting that the Ghana Boxing Authority, after a few months of not sanctioning fights, got up, started sanctioning fights, even without recourse to the ministry and the NSA?
You are saying after a few months. But that is why I'm saying that the attitude of the NSA and the sports ministry betrays a basic appreciation of what their job is and what they ought to do. You cannot tell me that the GB acted on the blind side of the NSA or the ministry.
But that's clearly what he suggests.
No, it is their job to know. If they didn't know, they ought to be sacked. Like Muftawu, People are dying here. This is no time for us to play the ostrich and say maybe it happened. You have to know that is your job.
The interim committee put together by the NSA and the ministry to oversee the governance of boxing in the country.
Yeah.
If you're just an interim committee and you cannot organize bouts to see
Muftawu.
whether the recommendations suggested to you are appropriate, of what use are you in there?
Again, I will not even mention the members of the interim committee, Patrick Johnson and his people. I won't even because they are not the most important people here. The ones who have been given the power and the mandate to stop boxing, to investigate what has happened, to ensure that the GBA is no longer fraudulently scamming its promoters and members by presenting a nurse as a ringside physician, by issuing receipts for services that it could not provide. All of these were in the reports.
Do we know for a fact?
We know for a fact.
No, I'm coming. Do we know for a fact that the current interim committee and the people, the acting president Roger Bano and his people, have not corrected those anomalies that were noticed by?
I'm saying that they should not even have been allowed. They should not even have been allowed to continue.
But have they made changes? Are you aware if they have made changes? They've communicated.
But why are we here?
To the NSA and.
Why are we here discussing about that should not have been sanctioned?
In a sport, anything is possible.
No,
in football, people are breaking legs.
You see, this attitude is problematic.
It's not problematic.
Because, Muftawu, and to answer something that Norte recklessly said, when he said, but in Japan, some time ago, somebody died and they didn't suspend boxing. Really? The governance standards that they observe in those jurisdictions, are they the same here? Are they the same here? So for me, the minister and the NSA boss have got questions to answer. They need to explain to the president and to Ghanaians why this happened, why this bout was sanctioned to go ahead. Because as far as I'm concerned, there was sufficient basis to suspend the sport. And earlier this week, we saw Yahan Pofuankra standing by Aite Powers telling the public that, boxing has not been suspended and it's just a few things that they need to do. Again, betraying a basic misunderstanding or a lack of appreciation of the severity. How many people need to die before people sit up? You are watching bouts, yeah? Go back to the Jonathan Tete fight. Watch the Jacob Dixon one and see if there are no similarities of the referees failing to stop the bouts when clearly the boxer is unable to defend themselves. There is a clear pattern over the years of when you go to Bokum, it is of the crowd cheering on. There is a pattern where the referees have become reluctant to stop the fight even when the boxers are no longer able to defend themselves. The GBA is allowing this. And the NSA, who received that full report from the committee that was... Then what was the essence of asking of commissioning Kowasma and His Excellency Amaka Amatefiu to go and waste their time and do that report? If you will just shelve it somewhere. Because, look, each time there is an issue with the NSA, we say, they don't have money, they don't have... This is a matter of just implementation of putting structures there, of lifting the standards and telling these people that if these promoters are not going to pay for the proper medical procedure to be done, if they are not going to put money on the table for the GBA to independently verify and test these boxers to ensure before and after the bouts, put them under close surveillance as it happens elsewhere. Elsewhere, we read of bouts that happen and then 8 to 10 days later, the boxer is still in a medical care being observed just to ensure that there is nothing that has gone unchecked. And here we are told that, the promoters have done their bits. The GBA also did their bits because someone presented a half-baked medical report and then they sanctioned it, and so they should be excused. This should not be business as usual, Muftawu. We know that this bout should not have been sanctioned for the reasons that I have explained. The NSA sat on the job and slept on it. The sports ministry also. You cannot tell me the statement that they released asking for the implementation of the committee's report before the GBA is handed control again is there. So, at what point in the committee's work did the NSA realize that, they have veered off tangents? And when they did, what did they do? If you didn't act, it only goes to confirm to me
the point that we had moved on as a country.
No, not the Muftawu. I can move on, but the NSA boss cannot because it is his job. I'm saying that if at some point the committee that he inaugurated veered off tangents, what did he do? If they did not see it, then they are not even supposed to be in that office.
Okay, Atsu, thank you very much. This is Game Plan Show, probably brought to you by Petrosol, energizing dreams, and Betway, get way more. And let me tell you something pretty quick about Betway. It is stepping up to give their fans even more back with Betway rewards. Whenever you bet on sports or casino, you will earn points that can be converted into cash. It is that easy. The best part of it is that you can convert whenever you want and can withdraw the funds or use them to place new bets. No strings attached. So start enjoying a whole new way to get rewarded with Betway. Only on Betway at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18s. Betway, get way more. And the Achimota Retail Center is celebrating 10 years of shopping, fun, and memories. And you get to be part of the excitement. It is simple. From now till the 28th of October 2025, just shop from 300 cities and above at your favorite stores at the Achimota Retail Center. Drop your receipts with our promoters, and you could be the shopper getting the rewards on 10th October. Or even walk away with a grand prize at our big anniversary celebration on October 29, 2025. So remember, the highest shoppers get the highest rewards. Don't miss out. Join the ARC at 10 anniversary celebrations. Shop more, win bigger, and let's make this milestone unforgettable together. Celebrating 10 years with 10 times the rewards. Achimota Retail Center. Aya vibes in Kwan. Attention, Ghana. Exams are done, the stress is over, and now it is time for our SHS leavers to step into the next chapter of their lives in style. Introducing Pens Down and Level Up 2025, happening on 18th October at the breathtaking Bonso Eco Park. To parents, this is not just another fun trip. It is an educational experience where your wards will receive first-hand guidance from Ghana's top universities on admissions, course selections, and career paths. Trusted reps will be on ground to answer all the important questions before your child takes the next big leap. And to students, for our amazing graduates, get ready for a day packed with zip lining, swimming, canopy walks, horse riding, music, food, and a live concert with your favorite stars. It is all about memories, vibes, and preparing you for the journey ahead. And to brands, for our valid partners, this is where you meet Ghana's next generation face to face. This is your chance to connect, inspire, and activate your brand with the future. To register, you pay 300 Ghana cedis with your name and location via Momo to 0244 272 460. Emily Nyako to book your seat. So you are paying 300 Ghana cedis with your name and location via Momo to 0244 272 460. Emily Nyako to book your seat. So parents, students, and sponsors, don't miss this. You don't have to miss it. It is Pens Down and Level Up 2025. Education, tourism, entertainment, all in one. 18 October, Bonsu Eco Park. Tickets now available for only 300 Ghana cedis. And as I mentioned, you can pay via Momo to 0244 Emily Nyako. For enquiries, you call 024 2376226 024 2376226. Pens Down and Level Up Drip to Trip. This event is powered by Com Media Concepts and High School Clicks and Multimedia Group. Sitsofe, Philip Ashrim.
Yeah, Muftawu.
How you doing, Uncle?
I'm well. By the grace of God, I'm fine. I'm doing well.
Okay. God bless you. You look fine. And I like the cap.
Thank you.
I've never seen you with a cap before.
The only time I wear cap is when there is a company outdoor activity to avoid the sun. Apart from that, yeah.
No, but for whatever reason,
It's usually when I'm in the sun for long hours. That's when I wear it. If there is no activity for me to be in the sun, I don't.
When I put on a cap or glasses, I feel shy.
Why?
I don't know.
I mean, if there is a need for it, why not?
Those days, like when we were young, you would wear some glasses, and when you're walking, be like there are some heels in front of you or something like that. So, since then, I've Sitcho, you say?
I mean, I told people, like, I mean, not that I lack any confidence or whatsoever, but I told people who struggle for confidence when they were speaking in public or speaking to people that one of the best things you can ever do is to put on some glasses. It might not be dark, it might be as bright as mine, but it subconsciously gives you an extra layer between your eye contact and the person you are talking to. So for people who struggle to make eye contact when they are talking to people or when they are talking in public, they can use it as a dressing tool, but the real reason maybe behind it would be to aid their communication. Yeah, but I mean, of course, for me, the reason why I wear it is different. My eyesight is brilliant. It's fine. I can do without it. But once I got into media, I started doing a lot of TV. I decided to protect a lot more of my eyes with it, and somehow it became part of what Sitcho is. And they say it looks good, so I keep it on.
Yeah, in fact, it looks good. That one there, I must also add that it looks good. Sitcho, just before you joined us, we were talking about the unfortunate incident that happened early on this week when we woke up to reports about the demise of Ghanaian boxer NX Akushi. And this has happened. This is the second incident that has happened in like 5-6 months. Raising questions about the governance of the sport and whether we actually value human lives. What structures do we put in place for the people? Because the sport exists because people are willing to get involved in it. And if you cannot protect those people, you don't have to be in it.
Yeah, we live in a country where, and as I said, that doesn't value human life. And it cuts across. It wouldn't only be sports. Otherwise, our roads wouldn't be as bad as they are. Otherwise, our hospitals wouldn't be as strong as they are. Service of conditions for very, very important people wouldn't be what it is. So we live in a society where we are almost used to people losing their lives for whatever reason, and it's dovetailed into sports. And for me, what is disappointing is that we know that for sports like boxing, the safety protocols are incredibly high because athletes are going under massive punches, pain being inflicted upon them. Some of them are getting deep cuts, some of them are getting internal bleeding, some of them are going through things that your normal body wouldn't go through if you played tennis or maybe you play football or other sports that are not combative. So it is shocking that for a sport as brutal as boxing, a sport that has a lot more of risk of fatality as boxing, we treat it as though it is, and it's professional boxing circuit, but we treat it as though it's two boys who have had their own fights on the streets, and then they are getting it off their chest. And that for me has become, if you like, the standard of how we've treated so many things. And I've said it. One of the biggest problems we face in Ghana is the common notion we have that and because then if a DBA, we would make sure that all the necessary protocols that need to be done are done. And if promoters are going to be organizing bouts, they're organizing bouts for athletes who are fighting within reasonable weight categories, so that people are not jumping two categories in the space of 4 months to fight, or dropping two categories in the space of, or two weights in the space of few months to fight. And athletes are not fighting every 2 months, every 3 months, every 4 months, because at the highest level, we know this, that when boxers have gone, even have won their bouts, and that don't look like they suffered a lot of, you know, punches or blows, they take their medical attendance very serious. So some of them lock themselves in the hospital for 2 weeks just for precautionary. Some of them, even when they are staying in their home, they've got medical officers on standby. But that all of that comes down into how much investment has gone into our sports from government sector, and how much supervisory role the agency that is supposed to provide in terms of NSA have done. So what is the requirement to become a professional boxer in Ghana? Is it that you can fight and you can box and you can get into the ring, or you are working with gyms that have demonstrated capacity to, provide health care, make sure you are safe, or with promoters who are making sure that in contract that is signed, when these things happen, they are coming out to suffer. It looks like there are no real standards that are being followed as far as sports, and in this case, boxing is concerned. All we want to do is get people in the box to fight, so that people who come to the stands, even sometimes for free, can shout and can go home and be happy. And in the end, as you said, in the space of 6 months, we've lost two boxers in the same ring under very similar circumstances.
Which is quite unfortunate. And in fact, I've just seen a video. Actually, I don't know if you have seen that. Fentuo has just shared a video of the people insisting that whether there's suspension or there's no suspension, they will proceed.
I'm watching it. Yeah, I'm watching it.
And this clearly goes to buttress the point you were making about the community always throwing their weight behind these things, and promoters are cashing in on that.
Yes, and everything Sicho is saying, and actually, life needs to go on. I mean, there is no need for any consequence. Look, I don't even want to take Aite Power's word on the accusations he's making about what the minister said to him and what the Ampofuankra said to him, because at this moment, we are not able to independently verify. But he's clearly saying that he's going to proceed with the bout, and that no one can stop him. This is in the public space. Yao has to see this. The minister has to see this. Part of their duty is to have a mechanism in place to ensure that they are properly informed on the relevant developments within the sector that they superintend. Yeah? So we'll be here. At this point, it is not my place to tell the minister how to deal with this Aite Powers, whatever it is that he was doing in the video. It's just Saturday. We'll be here. We'll pass by the Bukum Boxing Arena. We would also keep our eye on the ground and see if the minister would watch, if Yampofuankra would watch. Because now there is a clear directive from you. Yeah? The minister, through the NSA, has suspended all boxing activities. You have members of the GBA defying that. Not long ago, we had the GBA saying that they were not properly consulted. No problem. Let's see how the ministry responds to this.
Okay.
But again, Muftawu, on the Aite Powers issue, of course, the NSA, the ministry, the federal ministry must take drastic action. And one of those drastic measures, because this time the Ghanaian is, the last time was a Nigerian, so almost like, we don't care. It's a Nigerian boxer. The person's going to be shown back to. So, but this time it's a Ghanaian boxer. I think so. He hits home and he hits hard because family members, his community, and everybody's going to be speaking a lot more about it. So the ministry and then the NSA are taking drastic measures to put all boxing activities on hold. But again, maybe then Aite Powers and what he's doing are also trying to say, okay, there was a problem with the two previous bouts. You didn't do certain things right, and we are doing our things right. So why are you punishing us because of others who have not done their things right? So I can understand where they are coming from. I'm not saying this to fight, but I can understand their thinking. Now there has to be an engagement. The NSA, the ministry, needs to engage every other boxing bout that is coming. So every other boxing bout that is slated to happen between now and when they think they want to give us a break, and engage them and let them understand why they want to give it a break. Maybe then they can also hear their side of the story and they will tell them that these are the issues that we're facing, the bouts that got people killed. And this is what we have done different, or this is what we've been doing different. And maybe when those conversations are had, the two parties can understand why it has to be halted or it has to go on. I think that the FA has made a blanket, not the FA, the Ministry and the NSA have made a
The FA will
blanket
come
statement
after
in
you.
putting a motive on every boxing affair in every boxing activity in Ghana. And I understand why it is drastic. But individuals also in the same space who live on boxing can say, because think about it, we can't all of a sudden say that maybe we halt every football activity in Ghana because Division One has a problem. Because maybe then the handlers of Division One and the handlers of the Premier League, in terms of their boss, are going to say we are doing something else. Or women's football is going well, and the Premier League has a problem. So I think there has to be a dialogue. The ministry can't just throw it on everybody when others maybe are doing the right thing, and then maybe we can find a middle ground.
I think the ultimate challenge is not about whether the people who are organizing the bouts are doing the right thing. It's about the people who are supposed to oversee the right things being done. So, for instance, we're talking about having the right medics to be at ringside to protect these boxers. If they are not there, who is supposed to insist that those things are available?
If your reputation is that you defraud your members, we should not trust you. Like, you go on camera and you admit that you actually defrauded your members. Why should anybody take you seriously?
What
if in the Haiti Powers bout that is coming, they have got a proper medic as we would expect to be there, and so their case is, what is the issue? Is it that the previous ones you've seen haven't come with the right people to manage the games, and so, or the bouts, so you want us to call this one off?
But Sitsofe, on a human face.
And as I say, Muftawu, what if the Haiti Powers organizing the bout is going to come in with the right people? What if that's the argument?
Sitsofe, but on a human face, no, actually, just a quick one. On a human face,
the response to what he's saying is that, much as that is true, we cannot trust the supervisory body to do the right thing, because there is actually a track record, and they admitting that for 4 years they have been defrauding their members. So yes, Haiti Powers and his team can bring their medical reports, but it is also incumbent on the supervisory body, the governing body of boxing in this country, of the sport, to independently verify, without which you should not sanction a fight.
But even Atsu,
and that is something that they have proven to us, that for 4 years they have been failing at. Look, and 4 years is a long time. We're actually fortunate that in that period when they have not been doing this, there's only been one life that has been lost. Because come to think of it, anything could have happened. In all of those times when they didn't do due diligence, anything could have happened. You have a reputation of not properly sanctioning, allowing fights for boxers who have not been sanctioned. Boxers who have not been given a certificate to come and fight. You sanction that bout. And in matters of emergencies like this, we are supposed to trust you.
But I'm actually even thinking, right? The Dixon Akushi fight was on September 12th.
Yeah.
Right. And early this week was when we were told that he passed on.
Yeah.
And you still, even from the human face angle, you wouldn't mourn, but you'd rather go and fight a few days after.
Even as for mourning, you could declare 4 or 5 days of mourning. But the processes that happened here, the fact that they clearly detected that there was something wrong with the guy after the bout. He went to the hospital and then they said within a day or 2 they discharged him. He came back, but still didn't look like someone who was super fit. That system, that defective system that does not have any proper post-bout medical care is what ought to be fixed. And I'm saying that until that system is checked, you can actually have people with the right medical documents that proves that this person is in the right physical condition to fight. But what if they take a punishment during the bout?
And after that, who's supposed to take that responsibility for the post-bout medical?
Is the GBA that has to?
Who's supposed to take the responsibility?
It's the GBA that has to insist that before they sanction a fight, the promoter has to be willing to bear the cost of that. So there is money set aside for that purpose, right? So that you don't have a situation where the family says that after a day or two, they can no longer bear the cost of the admission fees at the hospital. So, because that is what happened in his case. They took him to a pastor when the issue recurred. I mean, that is what happened. Person went to the hospital, wasn't properly taken care of, and then when the issue recurred, they took him to a pastor. I'm saying that if you have a proper culture where the GBA standards are such that you probably need to cough up an additional 25,000 or 30,000 in medical insurance to cover the post-bout medical expenses. That takes care of that, because it is no longer something that you now have to come and hustle and look for money. So in the case of Bahubali, you think that if there was proper medical insurance or such an arrangement to cover that, after the first time he went to the hospital, they would be in a hurry to take him home. Andy.
And the guys have dissected everything. We'll be taking a quick break. When we come back, we'll be talking swimming. Ghana is hosting about 22 African countries between October 3 and October 5. It is the Africa Aquatic Swimming Championship, and that will be happening at the Boteman Sports Complex. Actually, you say you have a message for me.
The GBA spokesperson just sent me a text. He says he wishes to correct the wrong impression made about the weight difference. He said Bahubali fought the last fight as a light heavyweight and not a super middleweight. There was no problem with the weight difference. Secondly, it is not fair to insinuate that the GBA was more interested in investments than the lives of the boxers. Thank you very much, Andy. But those were his words.
Okay, those are his words. Betway is stepping it up to give their fans even more back with Betway rewards. Whenever you bet on sports or casino, you will earn points that can be converted into cash. It is that easy. The best part is that you can convert whenever you want and can withdraw the funds or use them to place new bets. There are no strings attached. So you know what? You just have to start enjoying a whole new way to get rewarded with Betway. And this is available only at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Betway, get way more. We are taking a quick break. When we come back, we'll be delving into the swimming conversation.
In celebrating the 2025 Ghana Theatre Festival, the National Theatre, in partnership with April Communications and Image Bureau, present Run for Your Wife.
Ajay, what are all these letters?
Oh, a sort of code to back up my schedule.
Like short code? SWM?
Saturday with Mary.
HDN?
Half day, nah.
LNNEMM?
Late night, nah. Early morning, Mary.
EOCO?
Those are the people collecting people's cars. For one day only, catch the funniest play of the year. Run for Your Wife. Sunday, 28 September, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. at the National Theatre. Tickets are selling now for only 250 cedi single and 400 double at www.imagebureaugh.com or dial star 714*39#. Run for Your Wife. Supported by Neplant Car Rentals, Joy FM, Hitz FM, Joy Prime TV, and proudly brought to you by Bill's Microcredit.
This October, the world of public relations converges in Accra. The Institute of Public Relations Ghana, in partnership with the African Public Relations Association, the Public Relations Society of Kenya, and the International Public Relations Association, present Public Relations Knowledge Sharing Conference. Also happening here in Ghana, 70th Anniversary Edition of the prestigious IPRA Golden World Awards Gala. Conference theme, Global Realities and Innovative Communication. 1st to 3rd October 2025 at the Accra International Conference Center. Time, 8:30 a.m. each day. Featuring His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as special guest of honor and keynote speaker, alongside global voices from Wikimedia Foundation, OpenAI, and more. The IPRA Golden World Awards Gala is on 3rd October at 7:15 p.m. at the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel, Accra. Be part of this historic global gathering. Register today at www.iprghana.org or call +233 500 481 062.
2024 champion!
This is where curiosity meets competition, where equations, reactions, and theories collide under the spotlight. The National Science and Maths Quiz is back. Bigger, tougher, more brilliant. From physics to chemistry, biology to mathematics, only the boldest minds can survive the heat. Who will solve their way to glory? Catch every contest live on Joy News, Joy Prime, and Joy FM, and follow the action across our digital platforms. The date is from the 13th to the 30th of October 2025. The 2025 National Science and Maths Quiz is produced by Primetime Limited and sponsored by the Ghana Education Service. This broadcast on Joy News is supported by NASCO, Vitamilk, Ayuda Hub, Virtual Security Africa, Chopbox Technology, Ambition Consult, German Ozone Medical Center, Ace Medical Insurance, Achimota Mall, Slam Technologies, Family Health Medical School.
Hello, Ghana! It's the time of the year! Raise your steins for the Oktoberfest Beer Festival, Ghana's premier 5-star hotel, and your CIMG Hospitality Facility of the Year. Labadi Beach Hotel brings you another exciting edition of the biggest beer festival in the world, Oktoberfest 2025.
To the Brewfest, raise up your stein. Sing for the lager, the stout, and the wine. Cheer for the ale that will carry us through. There's no greater calling than raising a brew.
Performing live once again in Ghana is the Bayern Boys Band from Germany. Experience traditional German food and beers on Friday, 3rd and 4th October 2025 at the magnificent Addis Pavilion. For enquiries and reservations, please call 0540-109995 or 0244-747670. Oktoberfest Beer Festival 2025. Come, let's party! Oktoberfest Beer Festival 2025 is proudly supported by Multimedia Group, Brussels Airlines, Media General, Guinness Ghana, Accra Brewery, and Heritage Beer.
There's going to come a time that the church will rise as the highest of all the mountains, and saviors will be raised in the church to deal with the world system. And let it be now. We need to have a national focus. We don't have to lose this ambition, or else we work against the Great Commission.
They are equipped in righteousness, the agenda to possess the nations. Welcome to an equipping center of the word and prayer on Pentecost Hour.
Pentecost Hour comes to you on Joy 99.7 FM every Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Hitz FM on Mondays at 5:30 a.m. and Joy Prime TV on Saturdays at 7 a.m.
We are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love this hospital bed. We are so proud of you for setting up this hospital.
We are back from the break. This is Game Plan. We are on Joy 99.7 and on Hitz 103.9 FM. About 22 African countries who will assemble in Accra at the Boteman Sports Complex for this year's Africa Aquatic Swimming Championship. And we have some members from the Ghana Swimming Federation in studio. But before we get into that, there's something pretty quick I want us to tackle, which has to do with the Ghana Football Association decision to engage Desmond Ofer as the head coach of the Black Meteors. In fact, this same football governing body just some few months ago released a statement saying that by virtue of the fact that they had appointed him to be the assistant coach of the Black Stars, they wanted to relieve him of the Black Satellites coaching job to allow him to focus on the Black Stars. But in less than 3 months, they've gone to appoint him again to head the technical team of the Black Meteors. And he's going to be doing that with former Black Stars player Yao Preko and Baba Nuhu Malam. Let me go to Sitso on this one. Sitso, we all saw the statement from the Ghana Football Association, but for whatever reason, they've gone back to Desmond Ofer. Are you taken aback by the fact that he's been handed this role?
You've got an incredibly complex right. You've got an FA that is really not on top of their issues, and they are very inconsistent. I don't think they are very capable of the job. And everybody listening to me today knows my position on the FA. They are not good enough. They are not honest. They keep making these decisions. It's terrible. And look, when you are the assistant coach of the Black Stars or assistant coach of a team that doesn't have a big technical group, there is a massive pressure on you. When you go to other countries, the coach has about 4 different assistants, some of them taking care of corners, some of them taking care of throw-ins, some of them taking care of attacking play, some of them taking care of defensive play, some of them taking care of training, and different things. So they've got a big pool of coaches. What Otuado has got is his goalkeepers coach, John Pinto, and Desmond Ofer. These are the only 3 technical heads that he's got. And then his analysts. But his analysts are never really going to be with him on the pitch. He's going to be talking to them when the game is happening. So already, Otto needs the full attention and focus of Desmond. So when they made that appointment of making Desmond assistant coach, we said that if he's going to be, at the time, he was the under 20 coach, I think. And we said that, look, he couldn't have done the 2 jobs together. And we were all thinking the FA had heard what he had said, the FA had listened to us, and so they had reshot the process and they had relieved him of the extra duty of the juvenile national team. And the FA actually admitted that because of his job at the Black Stars, they wanted him to have full attention. A couple of weeks down the line, you will have signed him to another job. And I'm thinking, when the FA talks to Ghanaians, or when the FA acts, when they speak to us, do they think we don't listen, or we are not intelligent enough to read between the lines or assimilate the information they give us or not? Because for me, I don't get how you give us a reason why you relieved him of his previous job, and then the same reason exists or persists. Yet you find another job for him. One says assistant manager of the Black Stars.
But Sitso, one can argue that the Black Meteors are hardly involved in any assignments.
Have a difficult job with the Black Stars and goes on taking a Meteors job. It doesn't make sense.
Atsu, just a question I was asking Sitso, which has to do with the Black Meteors. Their assignments are limited.
You will struggle to make sense of what the FA wants to do with youth football.
If you are 23, you can't be considered a youngster anymore. No. At that point, you're...
So I'm taking advantage of this opportunity to extend the lens to look at what they want to do with youth football. So what? Ofer has failed with the Black Satellites, so let's put him in charge of the next level for the very team that he failed with.
When you say he has failed, is that fair?
But the last campaign did it not end in a disaster?
Many teams have ended in disaster. It doesn't mean that they fail.
Misery loves company. That's what you are doing. Because someone else failed, you are saying it's okay for you also to fail. What is that? So because others fail to make it out of the group stage, it is okay for fail to also fail. Look, the FA needs to realize that there are no shortage of Ghanaian coaches. There are no shortage of Ghanaian coaches. So this idea of moving around the same people who keep failing.
There are no shortage of Ghanaian coaches, or there are no shortage of competent coaches.
If the standard for competence is failure, then why are the same people who are failing, why do they keep getting the same job? If the standard for competence, is not the results that they are producing, if the FA expects that our teams will be competitive as they want us to believe, then why is it that the same people who keep failing keep being recycled around the national teams? So Kunedu can go about 3 cycles with the same team fail, and then he will be moved from Satellites to under 17 to Meteors to Chan. Frimpong Manso, the same.
But now it is aspect of it is that even when they appoint them, they don't play any competitive match. Some of them have not played, because Maxwell, for instance, when they gave him the under 17, he didn't play in a tournament or even a single match, and they moved him.
And you see the lack of consistency in terms of the profile of coaches
do
they
this
are
for
hiring.
me in a minute, so I'll switch to
in terms of the profile of coaches they are hiring and the teams they are sending them to is problematic. You cannot tell me that Frimpong Manso and Prosper Ogum are made of the same ilk, right? You cannot tell me that the list of players that Frimpong Manso would want to work with, the profile of players, they are fit for purpose for the sort of football that Ogum would want to coach. It is impossible. We are in this country. We have watched the 2 coaches. And yet, the same FA, within a matter of months, can appoint these coaches for one team.
It is called recycling.
Beyond the recycling, it is bad. It's marks of confusion. It's marks of a basic misunderstanding of the philosophies of these coaches and the direct products of those philosophies and the results they bear. So look, at some point, the FA has got to sit down and have a hard look at what it wants to do with youth football. Because the Black Starlets are not the sit up. The Black Satellites, they say, even the current Starlets team, you groomed a whole under 15 team who were supposed to be the feeder team for the Starlets, and then you wake up one day and decide that, you know what, all of that work needs to go out of the window, so you discard them, and then you find you allow Ogum to go and pick a new under 17.
But now we've created under 16 too.
Now you're beginning to speak my language. So there has to be a certain consistency. Maybe because the people at the FA are used to running club football, so they are running national teams and dangerously youth teams with the same approach of running elite competitive level senior club football, which is very dangerous. And you see, if you disagree with me, the one thing you cannot argue is the result of their decisions.
Okay.
If the ideas are good, at some point, at least, you will have 1 or 2 bad results. But generally, the performances will be satisfactory. Ask yourself and look across the under 15 teams that have played games. Look across the under 17, under 20, under 23, even the Black Stars. And look at the results these teams are producing. And tell me if they are the product of well-intentioned, well-thought-through systems that are being rolled out.
So, Atsu, it is a testament of bad governance from the Ghana Football Association. We have to switch the conversation now to stock swimming. As I mentioned earlier, 22 African countries assembling in Accra for Aquatic Africa Swimming Championship. In fact, I wish we could talk a bit about athletics as well. In fact, I've written a long letter to the president of the country. And I am actually thinking that the performance of Team Ghana at the World Athletics Championships, I am thinking at least a handshake. Asante Kodoko, Bibiano Gold Stars qualified to represent Ghana in Africa. You call them to your office and give them $100,000. These boys have been running consistently across the globe. They've never even had an opportunity of meeting and sitting in front of a minister to have a conversation. do we really appreciate sports in general, or we are a football country, or we invest more into only football? And other talents are not appreciated in this country. In fact, I'm sure swimming have got their own issues as well. I've been joined in the studio by Dr. Frederick Boama, who is the LOC chairman, local organizing committee chairman of the Africa Aquatic Swimming Championship for this year, and also Farida Idris. She has got multiple roles. I don't know which one is most appropriate. Please take the microphone, Farida. You have used the microphone. So, which of the roles would you prefer I mention? You prefer the LOC member. But Doc, let me start with you, right? Talk to me about how important it is for Ghana to host this Africa Aquatic Swimming Championship.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. Good afternoon to your listeners. As you have informed your listeners, Ghana has been given the privilege of hosting the 2025 Africa Aquatics Zone 2 Swimming Championships at the junior, senior, and masters level. And this is important in a number of ways. For the swimming community in Ghana, this gives us the opportunity to be able to showcase the budding talent that Ghana has been nurturing over the years through these championships. As a federation, this is yet another testament that Ghana swimming has grown over the years, because this is not the only championship that Ghana has been given the right or opportunity to host.
Okay.
In the last 4 or 5 years, Ghana has hosted at least 4 of these continental and regional championships. And so it's another testament that swimming in Ghana is growing. For the community or the Ghanaian economy, as you know, 22 countries are descending into Accra from the 3rd to 5th of October. This means that business that they bring along would be good for the hospitality industry, the food industry, the transport industry. So it's really an important event for Ghana to showcase our talent and also boost our economy. Thank you.
Farida, let me come to you. How significant is this event for the region? You are a multiple person, so I would like you to talk to me about the region assembling here. Just how significant is it?
Yeah. So from the point of view of the African Zone 2, sometimes traveling within Africa is extremely expensive. And so they think that having a lot of events within the zone to give opportunity to juniors and then seniors who might not make it to the African competitions is very, very important, because this is where it begins for most of them. Because normally when you go into Africa, you are taking your extremely best swimmers. And so you'll be looking at just 2 people, 2 male, 2 females. But here at the zonal level, you get multiple people who are here to compete. So it's really important. Previously, it was 2 years for the various categories. Yeah. And it was juniors and then seniors. Yes. But we started this concept last year with Ghana being the first host of a combined age category.
Okay.
And then we also initiated last year the masters level.
Okay.
So this is the 2nd edition of the Masters. Okay. And then this is also the 2nd edition of the combined age category of junior, seniors, and masters, which has never been hosted by any country.
Oh, before. Wow. That's a massive plus for Ghana. Doc, talk to me. In terms of preparations, just walk us through preparations for this championships. How ready are we?
Okay. Thank you very much. So preparations began sometime in June.
Okay.
When, even though belatedly, Nigeria declined the hosting rights, and Ghana, as Farida has just indicated, based on the success of the 2024 edition, became the obvious partner to Africa Aquatics to step into Nigeria's shoes to be able to host this. So preparations started in June when the Ghana Swimming Association formed the LOC for us to take charge of the organization of the event.
Okay.
Now, to do this within this short period of time, I must say, has been very challenging. But we've also had the benefit of the knowledge and experiences of the persons who have managed swimming in Ghana
Is
period.
the pool finally in good shape?
The pool is in good shape.
Okay.
Although we are still in the process of making sure that it's cleaned and it's put in a standard that fits the World Aquatic Standard. As you may have heard, it has been an approved event for world events for next year.
Yes.
So quite clearly, it is not just a regional event. It is an event that has to meet the World Aquatic Standards. So preparations has been very thorough. We've had to fall on the ministry, the federation, and other stakeholders to support us to be able to prepare for this event, even though the time has been quite short. So for now, I would say that we are going to be ready. We still have a few days of preparatory work to undertake, and we are going to be ready come the 3rd of October.
Okay. Farida, what are some of the opportunities that events like this or tournaments like this presents, not just to the country, but for the swimmers?
So like I said previously, it gives the swimmers who might not qualify to go to the African competitions and the world competition an opportunity to be able to swim with other swimmers from other countries, to test their time, to even encourage them. Because sometimes the more you compete, the better you become. You can compete within your country and it's like you are a local champion. You don't get competitions from other people. So Zone 2 gives you the platform to test yourself, to look at the level of swimmer you are, because when you are able to get this stiff competition, you know that, oh, okay, I'm not there yet. I need to work hard and come back again. So we've had countries like Cape Verde, who came in Ghana with 10 swimmers in 2023, came there with 10 swimmers, 0 medals, and told us that we shall be back. And seriously, they came back.
That is the exposure.
In 2024, they had the best performing swimmer in the female junior category.
Wow.
And she was also the best swimmer, female junior category by medal count.
Wow.
Oh, yes. So we've had countries like that too. Okay, we are going, we'll be back. So they are able to analyze their current form and you see them coming back. So now the issue about Ghana, Senegal, Nigeria being the top countries in the zone is now a thing of the past.
Why that? If other countries are catching up, why?
The other countries are really catching up.
So why haven't Ghana,
Yes.
Senegal, and Nigeria also stretched the lead if they're catching you up? What are you doing wrong?
LOC chairman, who is also a parent, are helping us to do that catch up. You know, Ghana and our system only focus on the sprint. And with the sprint, it's like everyone is doing it. So the likelihood of not medaling is like almost 65%.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes. Because you would have, when you look at swimming heats and you look at 50-meter freestyle, you can get to almost like 20 heats. But when you go to, let's say, 1,500, it won't go beyond 5 heats. When you go to 800 meters, it won't go beyond 5 heats. 400 IMs. And these are events that naturally the Ghanaians don't get in. So it was like if you don't have the Kaya forcing, the Zara forcing around, it means that we'll be focused on the 50s and the 100s.
Okay.
So I think the little of it changed last year, where we had even Abeku swimming 400 IM. You had like Harry Stacy swimming 400 freestyle. You had Tamba swimming 400. And this year, we have an 11-year-old who is the national record holder in the 14 to 18 years category. That is the junior.
That's an interesting one. Let me come to your coach. I'm just running out of time. And ask him this question on what tournaments like this means for the development of swimmers or athletes.
Okay, so as we've been saying, I mean, tournament like this gives the swimmers, the athletes, greater exposure. So the more they are exposed to it, the more they want to better up their times. So swimming is an individual kind of sport. Yeah. The more you practice, the more it gives you bigger confidence to be better in future.
Okay, so Doc, what legacies do you want to leave behind after the organization of this championship?
Thank you very much. So for the swimmers, we want to instill in them that confidence that they can go beyond Zone 2. For Ghana Swimming, we have started the initiative of setting up a swim fund. Because as you said earlier, funding has traditionally been focused on football. Yeah. And sports or disciplines like swimming suffer a lot. And so on our own, we are initiating a swim fund. And we are inviting the corporate Ghana stakeholders in sports to turn their attention to swimming, because we have the potential to do well and make us proud at the world stage. But we need to start with putting resources together that can support the swimmers, develop their training programs, sustain their nutrition, and pay for competitions outside Ghana. So we are starting a swim fund, and in that regard, if you may permit me, we have a short code that anybody who wants to donate something to that can also do that.
Yes.
Okay. Which is *710 *1 hash.
Okay. Unfortunately, we've just run out of time. We have to go for the BBC World Service News right now. This has been Game Plan, and I was joined by Dr. Frederick Boama, who is the LOC chairman of the Aquatic Africa Swimming Championship, happening between October 3 and October 5. And Farida Idris, as I mentioned, she has got multiple roles. Treasurer and Coach Tosin. And earlier I had Victor Atsu, Tamakloe, and then Sitsofe Philip actually joining us for this conversation. We appreciate your company. Join us again next week for another edition of Game Plan. There will be this show will be uploaded on all our social media platforms for you to have access to it. Thank you very much. We appreciate your company.
For 3 years due to rebel activity.